question. Okay. You're telling people about Camp of the Woods. People maybe who've been there or haven't been there. What story do you tell the most to people that are you're talking about camp? What's your most repeated
Oh,
story?
probably my most repeated story, and I'm again, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but one of my dear friends to this day, I worked many summers with um, Karen Hartman, Karen Gard now, and I had happened to Mrs. Hughes had caught my eye. Let's just or Ms. Freeman. Let's make it appropriate. So I had seen her up in the dining hall, and I saw her smile, and it was
This is
just
it.
like yeah, like unbelievable, and so I had no idea who she was. And let's face it, I mean, maybe it's not PC to say, but like I didn't mix with the music staff crew. Like it was, I hadn't been to a concert maybe since I was 10. Friday and Saturday nights were great nights to just go. Anyway, I was not embedded in any way with the music staff. But at any
Let me,
rate,
let
I
me guess.
remember.
Let me guess though. Somehow in '91 you had this growing interest in music.
Oh, I was the music. I didn't miss the concert. I found the whole
I
thing
was shocked that Dave
absolutely
was going to
exhilarating.
concerts.
And
Yeah.
yes, it all depends on your perspective.
Like, Dave, it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
calm, and we still have a half hour a daylight to ski, and he's at a concert.
yeah, yeah. My priorities
I
were
gotta go. Yeah,
completely
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
completely out of whack from what they had been up to that point. So I go to Karen and I said, "There's this brunette who plays flute. You got to find out her name. Who is she? What's her story? And most importantly, Karen, is she dating anybody?" Karen goes, "Give me 24 hours." And so we hit this little gazebo right there, sort of on this little, I think I don't even know what it is, but there used to be a gazebo there right off the main stretch there, sort of by the Wigwam and by the Shones house. And we met under like, the cover of darkness, like there was this clandestine, thing. Karen comes to me and goes, "Her name's Heather Freeman. She was here in '87. She plays flute. And the best I can tell, she doesn't have a boyfriend." I'm like, "Thank you very much. I'll take it from here. God bless." Yeah.
Wow.
So I tell that. So Karen and I were reminiscing about that story even today because I told her I was going to tell the story because it's just so much fun. Um,
That is.
You
and
made Dave, you made that sound so covert. Like
Yeah,
under the
well,
cover.
I mean,
You did.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Such
literally met
purpose.
at night, Karen and I, I'm getting the intel,
Yeah, right.
from
That's
Karen
great.
Hartman about Heather Freeman. So
Yeah.
really fun.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Don, where
Okay.
you were like, oh man, my roommate, I might not be seeing him for a bit.
See, that summer, I think, Dave, I was working over at the Lemon Tree, I think.
Okay.
You're
All
working with
right.
Pete Samola. Yeah.
Yeah, good old Pete Samola. I was working on the putting in boats in and out of the lake and messing up other people's boats.
Well, Donnie, we will talk about this later, but I did go back and read. So Hank and I exchanged letters for years, and I have every one of them. And so I just for fun, I opened up one, and you were recounting a story on Pico Lake of some dude's battery died in the middle of the lake in like a deluge, and he calls up Pete and complained. So
Nice.
you were telling me that story in a letter, and I read it this past weekend. So yes,
That's
you were at the
amazing.
Lemon Tree that summer, I
I
think.
love the fact that you're referring to letters. Like
Yeah.
it's so old school, and
A
we
letter.
find that so many people that we've talked to are like, yeah, I wrote him a letter,
Yes.
and yeah, I still have it. Or, you know,
It's too
Wife
funny.
was asked, "Hey, what's the call tonight?" And I said, "Oh, some of the guys from the camp." And she's like, "What is this, like a sorority? We kind of do this with all the girls." She's like, "That's his '80s sorority thing."
yeah, right.
I'm like, "What?"
That's amazing. I mean, kind of. Um, David, have you read Don's book at all?
I have read it. Here it is. I don't know if it's blurred. You can see it here, but yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I think I saw Bob Ballman with a copy of this on the beach, and I was like, oh, I got to get me one of those. And I immediately came home from that week at camp and emailed Donnie and said, whatever, just send this copy to me and send a copy to Paul Voltmer. Um, and yeah, I read it I read it basically in one sitting almost on an overseas flight. And it just warmed my heart. This scene of you. I think Donnie, it was in your basement with Dougie as the
Oh
faux
yeah,
director of this
right.
crazy little thing called love. And the picture of my brother there, and it just warmed my heart.
Oh
Really special. So
yeah. Oh Dave. Yeah.
yeah,
Naturally, I we wanted to talk about Mark, and
Yeah.
maybe this is the time. Yeah, because
We're
um,
we're gonna go there in just a minute. I want to do something for
Tom will
you.
follow your lead
Yeah.
because, well,
Let's do
yeah.
something from the book first, and then we'll move on. We got a
yeah,
couple things for Mark here.
yeah.
Because you've read the book, I want to bring up the Earl Hampton Hall of Fame.
Absolutely apropos. Earl is a legend. I bumped into it, he and his wife at camp, like I don't know, 2 summers ago, 3 summers ago.
Okay.
And I was very clear to his I made it very clear to him and to his wife that he was a camp legend. Like
Oh,
this guy
totally,
is camp
totally.
royalty. This guy. Yeah. So
Well, I want to point out in Don's book, Don pasted, he put in a list of folks that Earl thanked, and you are on that list.
that was, you know what? You know what? That I found that really touching because I mean,
Yeah,
I consider myself friends with Earl, but you think Earl worked at camp, what, 3 or 4 summers? So he knew hundreds of people, and to be on that list, I thought I was really touched by that, in all honesty.
yeah. I would like to talk to Earl because I felt like we were friends. My name's not on this list. I mean, but I look at the people who are on this list and I understand why I'm not. So
Oh,
I'm okay with
please,
it. But yeah,
please.
this anyway, you're in Don's book on this list.
Yeah. I notice it's not in alphabetical order, but I do see like if you look to the upper left, like he started with some heavy hitters, and
He did.
Dave, you're not that far down from the heavy hitters. Like,
That's
I don't
right.
know. I think that's a clerical error, but yeah. But at any rate, I
it is what it is. That's exactly what
so,
it is in the book. So,
but yes, I thank you for for pointing that out. I honestly was genuinely touched by that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Donnie's book, a couple things, and I don't want to get too heavy here, but just that scene that you depict, Donnie, of your kids asking questions about camp, like, do people stay
mhm,
there overnight, or is there a gym?
mhm,
And you even saying in some ways that that was part of the motivation for you writing the book.
yeah,
And I kind of marinated in that for a while and really felt that just there's many words I could pick, but just wrong, I think, is the word that comes to mind. That hurt me, honestly, that you
mhm,
had to explain those remedial things about camp to your own kids.
It's a
And
loss.
it's a loss. It's a loss. Yeah. And I will say, I'll say this, that what I honestly was most impressed about, Donnie, was what wasn't in the book.
Mm.
Because I read the book thinking, let's face it, I know you love your dad the way I love my dad. Passion, deep beyond words can't describe the love you have for your dad and the respect you have for your dad.
mhm,
And given all the circumstances of what happened, I in my flesh, if the tables were turned, would have really struggled with, do I what story do I tell? Do I tell the story to defend my father, his honor? Do I tell the story to, in some ways, lash out at the people who maybe you could perceive as not treating him in the way maybe that he would want it to have been treated or whatever? But there was none of that in there, Donnie. And I was so impressed by that. I was so impressed by that. And I have this little Bible study I do with some of my kids' friends here at the house on Thursday. We're studying the book of Romans. And in the book of Romans, in chapter 12, it says, as far as possible, as far as it's up to you, live at peace with all people.
mhm.
And I felt like you demonstrated that so beautifully, that Christian ethic in your book by what you didn't write. So I commend you. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, David. Yeah, I I feel like you're teeing me up to maybe take some credit for it, but I when I started the book project, I feel like I was led to do it.
Mm.
Um, and I prayed about it, and I prayed that I there's not one word that I should share. Um, Please let me know if I shouldn't, and please let me know if I should. I don't want to make it sound like the whole thing was a spiritual journey. It was, but it didn't feel like that. But when it was said and done, um, yeah, the last chapter, my parents had no idea about that I was going to write. Tom knew a little bit about it. There was a very close council of people that I told that I was going to share kind of what happened at the end of camp. But as I wrote the book, I had no idea that a reconciliation was in progress.
Yeah.
um, and I whatever the book was going to be, what it was about my family's history there, including Dad leaving.
Mm.
I just had no idea that God was working in a way of a reconciliation with the board and Jack Zimmerman, who I talked to yesterday, who just sharing a couple crazy conversations. Um, yeah, I feel like if I go down this path too far, I might say too much, which would breach what you suggested that I didn't do in the book. So I don't want this to get too heavy, except that what you just shared, David, I appreciate because it affirms that the approach to it uh, was right and what was led. It was fun. This second book is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more. And I will be taking excerpts of these podcasts that Tom has helped me set up. But there's probably 20% will be from these. The other 80% are coming out of left field, things that I've, secret projects that I've been working on. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dave, you could have you sent me on a rabbit hole that um, but thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very meaningful. And but my main point of tonight is to want to reconnect with you and with Don here with you, and we have more catching up to do. But that means a lot. What you just said. Thank you.
No, it was clearly clear. It was clearly bathed in prayer because that's a Holy Spirit generated response. So let's switch. I do have a bunch of stories. I have stories about your
Do it.
dad, about your mom, about you, about your grandfather. I got them all.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Let's
So,
take a
uh,
look
so
at
my
this. Let's take a
yeah.
look
Go
at
ahead,
this
Tom.
first. Take a look at this first, and then we're going to go
Yeah,
in. We're going to get some
yeah.
more
No, you
questions
gotta
that we need to
reel
cover.
me in, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
Tom. Wait, Tom. Where'd you get that picture of Earl? Like that's the most
uh,
Earlish picture of Earl in that era we
it
could find.
is. There's not. I don't have too many pictures of Earl, but this was, I think, from the Bruce. Maybe from it was one of Bruce's.
Okay. All right.
Because right over here is Bruce O'Byrne, but
All right.
he got chopped. So, but
All right.
I think this slide is going to morph into many other interviews we do. We need to have an Earl Johnson Hall of Fame on every episode, in my opinion. Anyway, all right. Last episode, we started something called Camp Memories, which is a good
Yeah,
place to show some videos. We're going to take a look at some memories of your brother, Dave.
Hmm.
This
yeah.
is it may be my favorite camp picture that I have. And
Amazing.
you can tell why. This is the year that we won the lip sync contest as the barge captains. And your brother's in the picture with Dougie and I forget the other guy's name. Who's this guy over here? I forget.
FL Zone.
Okay.
A big part in the next book as the sound room guy. That yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yes.
Anyway, Mark is in my favorite camp picture.
It's
So
great.
I had to share this.
I love it. Thank you very much, Tom. That
Yeah.
means a lot.
All right. And next, I think this should work. Let's give a watch to this.
Oh, that's the point. Oh, there he is.
He was down there a lot.
He
Yeah.
was. I loved having Mark.
Oh, that's
But
really special.
what I love about Mark
Oh, he
is,
loved to catch crayfish at the point. He loved that.
Did.
yes,
Oh
he
man,
he had the best smile.
he
Oh,
did. He did.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
always
He
smiling
had a,
and
I
so
agree.
good.
Absolutely. Look, it's quite a fish.
He's about to eat. He's about to eat a crayfish.
none of us. That was a big crayfish. None of us would even like. If we were gonna touch a crayfish, we'd be like, grab a rubber glove, which Tom, you probably had in your head like 5 seconds earlier. We were
Well,
like,
we went up to the kitchen and got those long, those long yellow gloves. I felt
Mark was like,
invincible with
ah,
I
whatever.
felt invincible with those things on, and we would get crayfish by the
Oh,
hundreds. I mean, it was fantastic.
That's
That
great. I love it. That's
Don,
awesome.
Don, I know Dave's gonna obviously share about Mark, but what are your memories of Mark? Oh,
you're on
During that
mute.
same time we did the videos, we did a Take Me Home video, and Mark was our cameraman. And Mark, he had um, the backpack and then the camera that was like twice the weight of him, and he's lugging those things around. And he was a small little guy, right? And he was just awesome with the film. He was the cameraman for the whole thing. He was great.
yeah,
I love it. You basically were carrying a camera the size of a VCR
Yeah.
and a VCR connected to it. Yeah,
Exactly right.
that's
Dave,
amazing.
maybe you could share too, like how he became part of your family.
Yeah. So and you have to understand that, thank you for even just asking that. That's special. So my parents, you have to understand that the Vietnam War was raging when my parents started the adoption process for brothers. So
Mm.
he was born in 72. We got him in war. The war didn't really end until 75, 76. So they adopted him in the midst of the Vietnam War,
Wow.
which I really think was an incredibly brave thing for them to do. I don't think
Yeah.
it wasn't by any means the cool, trendy thing to adopt a kid from Vietnam in the middle of the war. So yeah, but my parents just felt um, a real conviction that the Lord wanted them to adopt, um, and so that was they went through an agency called Holt, and yeah, he came over in 74, right around Christmas time, and yeah, I the thing that's amazing about my brother, and I have an adopted daughter of my own, and I'm very I have a lot of connectivity to adoptions and a lot of families that have been involved. And the thing that's kind of amazing about my brother is that he never looked back. He saw himself as a Hughes. um,
Yeah.
and I'm not faulting anybody who does want to find their birth parents or any. I'm just I think that's a wonderful thing if you can do that. But my brother, I think, was very resilient, and he just embraced.
Freeze there, Tom. Huh?
Yeah, Dave froze up. There you go. You're back, but you froze up for a couple seconds there,
Oh, I'm
Dave.
so sorry. Yeah,
Or
I heard
I'm not
he
sure where I cut
embraced,
off.
yeah.
I heard he embraced, and then you
Yeah,
froze.
he embraced everything about speculator culture. He lived in
Oh,
speculator. He loved skiing. He loved snowmobiling. He loved the winters. He and Melissa and the kids are still live in Lake Pleasant to this day.
okay.
And so strong connectivity. Yeah, it's just to be. I can't say too much or I'll turn into a puddle. But I still it's 5 years. Next month is 5 years, and am I still struggle with
Yeah.
his loss
Yep.
in a pretty profound way. Like Donnie, I was so happy to see your dad after a service last summer at camp, and we had a really wonderful, beautiful little exchange. And he said to me at the end, he says, Dave, I want you to know we miss Mark, and I
Mm.
just I just had to walk away, but I appreciated that. I appreciated your dad's willingness to go there.
Yeah.
Um, I appreciate it immensely, and to remember, just to the people that still do remember him, and just even as uncomfortable it is for, I was grateful to your dad to even share that sentiment
Oh,
with me.
well, it was real, Dave, and I will say this: a couple things from a personal perspective. I shared what you wrote with my dad, and he remembered the conversation and kind of reflected, like, "Yep, I can see why that would have." But this is only going to take it further. That the fact that Mark continued to live in the community and speculator. He served, was the fire department, ambulance department, like,
Right, both. Yeah.
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 Um, so when I left camp, came out to Buffalo, I would still go back, and my brother-in-law Scott Olson was there, and I would go back, and we were in our 20s, we got into like weightlifting, and so he was like, "Hey, we can, go into work out in the gym. There's a little weight room there, a little makeshift, and Mark Hughes is going to join us." And I remember thinking, "Okay, weights here, and there's a bench press here, and squat, and okay, we'll have the weights here." And he's like, "You don't have to take any off. No, Mark can do all that." Like, he did pound for pound. He was the
Wow.
craziest. Like, and Scott was like, wait till you see what he could do. But that was just
Amazing.
physically. But when I just you say 5 years ago,
Five years ago.
my family and I started to go up, my two daughters and their now husbands, to Oak Mountain and to ski. And when you get on the one chairlift that they have there, they have workers that help make the chairlift not, totally crush your hamstrings when they come through. And of course, Mark was one of them. And it was probably just an extra job that he picked up above and beyond all the other things he was serving to do. But he was happy to see me. I was so happy to see him, and just a huge smile. And every time my daughters got in the chairlift, they were like, "That's the nicest guy I ever met." Like, he just so happy, um, and he would have a question, like a different question every time he would put the chairlift underneath us. And I want to say that was in March of that year, and a few months later, we learned he passed away, and I couldn't believe it because we all just reflected on this seemingly healthy, big smile, uh, man that I kept telling my family about, and it just it was painful to. And Dave, I can't even imagine. I'm sorry, like this. You said you would turn into a pile. I don't blame you, but I'm just telling you. And then when I saw, after he passed, the entire community, all the trucks and
Right.
they went through Speculator with a side, just honoring
Mm.
him, and just what a mark, that name. I know I didn't mean that, but mark that he
It's
left on
He left his
the
mark. Yeah.
world, and the community and everything. Like, just I can't wait to see him again someday in eternity, because to have him welcome us there, because that's the kind of person he was. So
Thank you, Donnie. Yeah, the speed to your point, the speed that he of his decline was um just incredible. Just I couldn't reconcile it. I really struggled. Um, but I see that the Lord, I don't fully understand it, but I can see how the Lord's even just taking care of Melissa and Lily and Josh and the care. And I do want to say a couple things. that the camp community and family and the speculator community and family has been so kind to my brother's family, and even way beyond even the honoring of him that they did that day. I know the fire department did, a silent auction and a whole barbecue for the benefit of the family, and but it even goes so far beyond that. And I don't, time won't permit it, and I don't want to, share things that I shouldn't. But I'll just say that the community, the camp and the greater speculator community has been so incredible and so supportive of my family, and I'm grateful forever, and it won't be forgotten. It's just goes beyond words. Just my appreciation for the whole community.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that, Dave. Yeah. Again, from our text, I knew that you shared that it was an open wound, and you're not sure if it ever won't be. But I appreciate you taking this opportunity to share with people that are watching,
Yeah.
reinforce just what a special young man that he was, and the fact that he's ever part of your family, and the whole story is really heartwarming and fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for making that part of tonight's discussion.
Okay. We got a couple more questions, and then we got some pictures that we definitely want to get to. You read Don's book. What kind of memories came back from reading it?
Oh,
Anything in particular?
yeah, uh, I know much has been made of, the sticky buns and everything. But Dot, I worked up in that kitchen with Dallas and that whole crew, as a commissary. You sort of see the
You
behind the
did.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they worked really, really hard. And everybody remembers the sticky buns, but just even just reading about, you did a really great job of I think honoring Dot and just the legacy up there on the hill. And that's just one small thing of many, many, many. Just honestly, countless memories came back. All the names. I think in the text I said, Donnie, that like all the stories that have been told on this and in your book are warmly familiar, right? I know all the names, I know all the places, I know the context, I understand all of it, um, and it was I think Dave Thompson used the word cathartic. It was just sort of it was uh, camp was so meaningful to me and remains so meaningful to me and to my family that to realize that there's a whole other group of people to whom it's also just part of the fabric of who they are, and was so influential in their lives was yeah, it just it felt good. It was warm fuzzies all over, the Garrow chapters notwithstanding. But yeah, it was wonderful. And I greatly appreciate, Donnie, the investment of time and research. I know you did a ton of research um, to bring it to life. So I thank you for it.
Well, thank you, Dave. Two things there. Um, Number one, in the next book will be a footnote about a certain boat crew member that admitted on one of these stories, a story about being in the Marine Jeep on a Sunday morning and taking a turn too hard and having the sticky buns shoot out the side. To the horror of the onlookers. And that will be in there. So,
Amazing.
uh,
Oh gosh,
yeah.
that's great.
So,
Well,
and the
I
other,
look forward to it.
yeah, and the other, just the fact that was there ever, could you ever have imagined being in Boyce Park with David Thompson and being like, down the road someday you and I will be talking about the fact that we both use the word cathartic.
Probably was not given my state of mind in my teens,
Right.
probably not.
Yeah.
But all that to say is even though we haven't been in touch directly, I always knew that people like Dave Thompson and Donnie, that I knew I was going to be lifelong friends with them. That even if we didn't see each other for years at a time, we'd pick up right where we left off, just because
Oh,
the
I
roots
love
are
that. I
so
love
deep.
that. Yeah,
The roots
that's
are so deep. It is just you can just pick up where you left off,
Yeah.
and it's like time stood still, and
yeah.
it's only because of the intensity of those relationships. You're at this point in your life, it's really you're very fragile, you're very easily influenced, and then you put yourself in this place where you're spending your lives in these small cabins with these people and eating meals with them, and then you kind of put gasoline on the fire, you put it with this beautiful lake and these mountains, and you have these waterfalls, and the whole thing is just so powerful from a memory perspective that it really is it's hard to put into words how significant it is in shaping me, and I know many others.
I think you did a pretty good job right there, actually,
That
putting it in
that
order.
was solid. Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, you just have an uncanny skill of relationship building and
Yeah.
relationship keeping. You are unbelievable at being able just to, like you said, pick up where you left off or connect with somebody, call somebody up, or stay in contact. Unbelievable. And I mean, some of the pictures and the names kind of just show it. But yeah, just you've got that skill, and it's really a gift, really.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can.
I see it as like any form of investing, right? You have to give of yourself, in order to maintain these things, and they're valuable. Like just as an example, every summer, I did miss one summer, and your mom let me know about it, Donnie. So every summer when I'm up at the lake, I paddleboard over to Al and Audrey's house. And it's like one of my favorite things. It is probably the top thing on my list every summer to paddleboard over to see Al and Audrey. I love the Miller family. I love everything about the Miller family. I adore them, always have. And to be able to go over there and just reconnect with them and have a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, watching the fog rise off the lake, and see which ones of Donnie's kids are in town with Kimberly, and it's just so great. I can't even tell you how great that is.
And he'll just go over there and know that I'm not even up that weekend, and he'll just be like, whatever. Maybe his dog is there. I'll say hi to his dog.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, no, it's a tradition, and I don't miss a year because it just is so important to me. Those connections, I treasure his parents, um, and so yeah, it's just that important to who I am, and to the role that Al and Audrey and the whole Miller family had in me. It's the very least I can do is paddle over and have a cup of coffee and just keep those connections alive.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so you're still in touch with the Millers. Are there folks that you wish you were still connected to? Who would you like to reconnect with?
And
There was, it's so funny because
We're not bringing any special guests on right now, just so if
no,
anybody's
no,
wondering.
no, no. His picture comes up again and again and again. And he was a very dear friend of mine, and he was mentioned in a couple of other videos. And Al Lang, I don't. So
oh,
Yeah.
Al's in one of the pictures. I went to his wedding. He invited me my senior year of college to his
Okay.
wedding. I drove all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee. And then to use a Cheryl Olson expression, we broke up. Like, I don't know.
We broke
Our
up. I love
lives
when she
just
said that.
yeah, yeah.
our
Well,
lives just went like this. Um,
all right. So Don,
so
maybe we
yeah,
need
Al
to.
Al Lang is one.
All right.
So if we
Let's
get
see.
Al Lang on, we can bring you on as a special guest.
Oh, I would love it. You
All
know
right.
what? Al is one of those people. We're both Jersey kids.
Yeah.
And I just had I have so many fun memories of Al Lang, and so yeah, that would be great fun. If we could make that happen, I would be honored to be just a fly
Yeah.
on the wall.
Did you know Al Lang too, Don?
You're still on mute.
Oh, there you go. You're off.
Yeah.
Did, but not very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen his pictures. I recognize him. I didn't know him well, but I love learning about folks that I didn't know much about, and you know, just playing a lot of catch up, and that would be part of it. So
You know what, Donnie, while we're talking on this vein, and
yeah.
so another name that I'll throw out there, and I keep up with him very sporadically, is Scott Brake.
Oh,
Like he and I will text fast and furious for like a week, and then he'll vanish for 18 months, and then he's back, and
Scott Brake.
we're sharing, and then,
That's funny.
so he's now that guy can spin a yarn. That guy can tell a story like nobody else. He breaks all the rules, in the best
it's
possible
fun.
way. Yeah, he's really fun. Like the world
I think
says, oh,
most of our good
you have to
stories
have
have
this
Scott
many
Brake in the
kids, or
middle
you
of it.
have to raise your kids this way, or you have to have you run your business. Scott says, the heck with convention. I'm going to do it my way and Samantha's way. And you know what? God bless him. It works for them. So I love it. He is so fun, that guy. I mean, just great.
So
Don Miller, what were you saying?
yeah.
I was just going to say, if I go back to any Camp of the Woods story, usually Scott Brake's right in the middle of that story, and we're just on the floor, just rolling.
Okay,
Yeah.
think we should put him on the list.
I learned one that Bob Butts told me from his boat days. So I'll try to reconcile that and put it out there at some point. So I got to look back at the actual email he wrote, but I think yeah. So
Okay.
Those would be a couple names.
All right, real quick, Dave, favorite camp landmark or location?
Oh, all right. So this is maybe a little obscure, but in some ways, once again, I have to credit Jen Thompson, because when you posed this question to her, she said the wigwam porch, right?
Yeah,
And it was this sort of campy smelling, just little quiet spot amongst the chaos of the beach. And I
yeah.
was, oh, yes, I could feel that. I could feel the vibe that she was bringing back to life. But then I thought about, and this is I am going to say that one of my favorite spots at camp was the water fountain on the back side of the wigwam porch. It was the best water on the planet. It was like running off of a glacier or
Yeah.
something. It was the best. It was always freezing cold, it was just the most pristine, perfect water. And Larson Lodge is great, but man, they could never replicate the water fountain on the back of the wigwam porch near the
There's a
phone
special
booth.
pipe coming in from Canada,
I'm
just
telling you,
right to
Tom,
that water fountain.
if you told me it's coming in off a glacier from, northern Cal, I would believe it, because it was that good.
That's
I would go
amazing.
out of my way
So
to drink the
10,
water from that water fountain.
I love it. Oh, it's so funny
hate drinking
because
that
when
Tennessee
I
water because it tasted like lead.
yours does
Disgusting.
done.
That is
Yeah.
funny.
So when I go back to my parents' house, I spend a lot of time right in their kitchen sink, right there, just letting it run, putting a cup under it, and just they get it from a well, but it's still from that area, and it just tastes like it's
Good.
so pure. You just feel like you're drinking the best of the Adirondacks, and yeah, it's cold.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep,
Couldn't agree more.
yep.
That's
Good.
amazing.
Wow, good call.
All right, I have a joint question here for both of you. I'm hoping you guys can answer this question that you were both involved in some prank. What's your favorite prank story?
All right.
Oh, actually, Donnie and I did do, and you know what? Steve Solom told this story. We were out in his Sea Ray
Many pranks.
Seville. Yeah, you did. I think you were there. So Bruce O'Byrne, we did a slow fuse firecracker at one end of the beach,
Okay.
and then it was like on a delay. I don't remember. Maybe we used a cigarette or something. We get a slow delay thing, and so we were able to get away. And then Steve Solom's boat, this had like the quietest troll. It was like a stealth boat. And so we then cruised over to the front dock and then did another delay. And then And then so, Steve was recounting the story of just the humor of watching Bruce O'Byrne sprint from like Wichita all the way to the and we just thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then we slept out in Steve's boat. And I remember, Donnie, I think you slept in Steve's boat at least one night.
Yeah, it was freezing that
It
morning
was
and we were
freezing
soaking
cold.
wet.
We froze our butts off. Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
Steve and Scott were like
And
in the
it
cabin
was so foggy you couldn't
in the
ski
deck.
anyway, so it was a waste of time.
That's amazing. Okay, that's a good story. Okay, I think that's enough questions. Have we satisfied your mom, Don?
Oh, you guys, yeah, you
Yeah,
overperformed.
yeah, I think you guys brought it pretty good.